In our research at Change Enthusiasm Global, we have discovered that 89% of the Asian workforce believe that after experiencing change in the workplace, they learn at least one thing that helps them grow. So how are you achieving growth through change? Well, as a change expert, having inspired millions around the world to achieve growth through change, I got you. Let's talk about it. By the end of this video, you're going to be armed with 4 proven tips that are sure to help you achieve growth through even your most stressful, challenging change. You're going to learn about the power that is innate within you, whether you believe it or not. You're going to learn what's so important to accept as you're experiencing change. You're going to learn a powerful inventory keeping exercise. And finally, you're going to learn a practice that once it's established and nurtured will help you achieve maximum growth through even your most difficult change challenges. The first tip is to trust that you have the power to choose how you experience change. You know, when experiencing change at work, especially that type of change that you didn't ask for and just kind of comes out of the blue, comes, from up above, it can feel like your power has been stripped away. But the reality is, no matter what the change might be, you still have the power to choose. To choose how you experience that change, how you embrace it, how you resist it, how you experience, how you lead, how you inspire moving through that change. That choice is yours. You never lose that power. You ultimately can choose to understand how to make that change work for you instead of against you. Instead of holding you back, instead of stifling you, how can you find opportunity in that change to elevate you towards your greatest career aspirations? When you can truly trust that, you're going to be best positioned to experience growth through change. The second tip is to accept the difficult emotions that are so commonly inspired through change as invitations to your greatest opportunities. Challenge and struggle and really difficult emotions, they're a natural part of change. And as a practicing change enthusiast, I have come to embrace them as that natural part of a change journey. And not only just a natural part of the journey, but also as these clear invitations to our greatest moments of opportunity to choose how we grow, how we learn, how we evolve, how we become better. For me, I'm always reminded of my very first experience going through a multi-billion-dollar acquisition and the amount of stress, of frustration, of anger that I felt going through the cultural integration of that acquisition, and how I decided to trust that all that emotional energy, all that frustration, all that anger, that was actually an invitation to my moment of opportunity to learn. This is an experience that very few have the opportunity to engage in, to learn about different cultures, to learn about culture clash, culture integration, and how to inspire and lead when going through that type of turmoil. And honestly, those really challenging times have been the greatest moments of growth for me and my career. And it honestly planted the seed that has now grown into the work that I get to lead in my global consultancy all over the world. Before we dive into the next tip, are you getting value? Are you getting energy? Do you get something from any of these words that I speak? If you do, make sure that you subscribe, because I drop videos like this all the time. Mostly I'm not rambling. I'm giving very clear value, helping to nurture your growth through even your greatest change challenges. So make sure you subscribe or even click notification so you're the first to know when a new video drops. All right, let's get back into it. Tip number 3. Keep an inventory of the learning you experience when going through change. Create a means to actually document what you learn when you go through really big change. And I do this through journaling. I often capture mistakes that I've made, what I've learned from those mistakes, emotions that I experienced, challenges that I've had, and basically how I'm learning and growing, what I'm experiencing going through that change. By documenting the learning, it allows me to, number one, make it a point that I'm actually looking to see what I did learn and how I've actually grown. And then I can go back and review that inventory, review those journal entries to see how far I've come. And it serves as a reward for me, and honestly motivation to keep pushing forward through the change, because I can look back what I was experiencing 6 months ago, where I was choosing to put my focus, what mistakes I was making, and what learnings that I was able to capture, and to appreciate the journey that I've traveled and how far I've come from that point in time. So take that inventory, whether that be through a journal, whether that be through, a notebook entry, something you want to do electronically on a notepad, but capture that inventory. Your feelings, the emotions experienced, the mistakes that you've made, and everything that you learn as you go through the journey. Document your journey of growth. The fourth and final tip is to establish and nurture a practice of gratitude. Gratitude for everything that you've learned. Gratitude for your failures, for your mistakes, because of the learning that was created through that. When we can nurture that practice of gratitude for the learning that happens, the growth that happens through change, it begins to reward our minds, reward our spirits. And as we're going through change, we're going to seek that reward, right? Strive to find those things that we can appreciate, that we're grateful for when going through that change. And that, anticipation for the appreciation helps us remain engaged and motivated going through a change journey. So if you don't have a gratitude practice, either for yourself or maybe even a practice that you've invited your team into, those that you work with into, strive to find one today. There's a brilliant man named Peter McWilliams, and he says that emotion is energy in motion. Emotion. And there's been scientific studies that state that gratitude is one of the highest vibrating energies. So when you can rest in that vibe, you're going to show up better and brighter to your teams, to your colleagues, into your work. And also, it's contagious. So as you're vibrating in that gratitude, those around you are going to find that as well. So find that appreciation for the learning that you get when moving through change, especially the really challenging and stressful change, because it's steep with opportunity for learning and growth. Speaking of growing through change, that is my thing. That is really just the core of my work, my life's work. And I actually want to give something to you. I want to gift you the introductory chapter to my best-selling work, Change Enthusiasm: How to Harness the Power of Emotion for Leadership and Success. Now, this is going to brief you on what change enthusiasm is all about, this growth mindset, this idea of transforming really difficult emotion into fuel to actually accelerate your growth moving through change. I want to gift you with a free chapter, the introduction to that mindset, all for free. All you got to do is click on the link below. I want to make sure you're armed with the data, the insights, the perspective, the research to fuel and accelerate your growth through even your greatest, most stressful change challenges. I'm Cassandra Worthy, and until we meet again, keep growing and keep rocking.